grooming his beard.
He's been brushing that for half an hour.
To be fair, there's not much grooming needed because the amount of times he's stroking it like this all the time, it must be as soft as anything.
Hey everybody, welcome to Quarter Blades. You'll hear our players in the background just a little bit as they're getting all settled in for a good evening of Court of Blades. I'm about to introduce them and get them going, but I wanted to do a quick shout out to the Drakes who put together this particular game that we've been enjoying so much as we've been exploring sort of a Renaissance Italian themed fantasy city, and our folks are retainers for a great house that they were trying to advance, and they've had quite a few little adventures already, and we'll have to see where this goes tonight. So let me bring in the players, and we'll ask them to give the teeniest thumbnail of themselves as well as what happened to them during the end of season ball. And we can start out with Mocklin up there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I think I must have got completely hammered because I can't remember most of the end of season ball. The one thing that I do remember is that for a change, Mocklin didn't have to be super gauche. Actually, he did, didn't he?
Don't you start fighting?
He did. Mara Moon tried to do the dirty, and I stepped in, my arch nemesis. I danced her, I wooed her, I was extra gauche, and she hated it. I loved it. I then saved Sasha from a wardrobe malfunction. Okay, maybe I didn't, but that's the way that I see it. But I did magic up some very nice, elegant, flittery, flighty dress, which was, in my opinion, better than what she came in. But yeah, for the first time, no physical harm or elemental harm came to Mocklin. So that's a win.
And for those of you that haven't seen that episode, it is a bit amazing that we can have an entire session that takes place at a ball, and at the same time we have a lot of fun and stress and tension, and you'll have to see it. Just going to that, let's go down to Monty. Monty had an interesting couple of things happen to him too.
He had an interesting trip to the ball. He wasn't particularly keen on going, not being of the noble particularly type, but yeah, he was dancing with his girlfriend at the time, and he took her away from her brother, who's being a bit possessive, and has it in for me. But yes, everything seemed to be going on around Monty at the ball. There was all sorts of chaos, and he's like standing in the room dancing, going, "Oh no, oh no, oh no."
I think your paramour was actually offered as a potential bride.
Yes, that was towards the end, wasn't it? When she was announced as a. Yeah, that's going to go down well. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Speaking of which, Christine, tell us about Sasha's night.
Sasha had been having a most enjoyable night dancing with her paramour. Until she noticed that one of the granddaughter of one of the main houses was having magics used upon her. At which point she quickly took her into the ladies' powder rooms and basically had to switch dresses to the one that had been magicked in some way, which she just didn't understand, because that is beyond her. Magic is something she doesn't totally understand, but she can see its effects, and she knew definitely that something evil had been attacking the outfit of the poor lady. So she'd gallantly swapped dresses so that the granddaughter could be seen back out on the dance floor, and nobody would know that anything had gone wrong. At which point, as he says, Mochlin, does it Mochlin? Yeah, stepped in for her and robed her in magics so that she also had something to come back onto the floor with, wearing. So it was an interesting night, and then yes, the surprise at the end of somebody trying to set her paramour up as a candidate for marriage.
What did he say again?
Crumbs. Now, there's a good question. I can't remember quite exactly.
I think
Wasn't it not bloody likely?
Not over my dead body or something. I don't know. Something along those lines.
Yeah, very much like that. And that's where we sort of faded out of the dance, is when all the music stops, as he says, that's not how that's going to be. And that was a very interesting moment to pull away on. I think that Pete was right in the heart of the dance dress debacle and probably guesses several things that are going on there.
Yes, so Pietro's paramour is the Barbolini tailor's daughter, and they've been getting some problems recently, all stirred up, we believe, by Moon de Lavelle and the enemies of our house. So he was very happy to see that Tita di Corvetto was wearing a Barbolini dress. But as Sasha said, some foul magics were used on the dress to make it fall apart. We had to have some quick thinking to get her out changed before it all fell apart, which happened very successfully, thankfully. And Pietro also played a small part in the monkey affair.
Ah, yes.
Which
Yes.
I shall leave for others to describe.
And speaking of Moon de Lavelle, I think she was at the heart of that, wasn't she? As part of.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Lorenzo, can you tell us what happened there? What plot was afoot?
I was enjoying myself, and until they brought out the pineapple in the shape of a ship.
Ah, yes.
My monkey went AWOL, which is unusual. Was prigging in the rigging and jumping all over the place, and was accused of biting a nobleman.
Knifing a nobleman.
Knifing a nobleman, with which I'm sure he wasn't instructed to, so I don't really believe he ever did. Whilst all that was going on, I needed to make a distraction, so I started breakdancing. amazed the entire group, and all the people there were amazed as well. Bit of a distraction. Monkey got out of harm's way, and that was about it, really. I set some drinks on fire.
I guess.
Yeah, and obviously we're trying to be. They're trying to set us up again.
So amazingly, that was a 3-hour session, and for
which they'll pay. But don't forget, also my paramour has been trying to tell me, been alluding to something that I've obviously forgotten. So in my downtime, the first thing I'm going to be doing is approaching her and just and having it out and finding out what the hell she's alluding to, because I can carry on trying to remember, but I can't remember.
That's very interesting.
Because the GM hasn't really told me yet.
Yeah. That is really going to be a fascinating event. So, like I said, for those of you watching this particular episode and wondering about that episode prior, where we spent 3 hours with all of those things happening, you'd be actually surprised at just how exciting it was. So let us jump now to the view across this beautiful Mediterranean-esque city. We are out of the summer season. We are into the autumn social season. But that doesn't mean a huge change in temperature and in what is going on with the climate. It's a little cooler. You're seeing that the insects that sometimes hover above the canals, there's fewer of them. But otherwise, there's still fairly balmy days, just the nights are a little bit cooler. We settle upon the apartment block, the upstairs of this particular block that looks out across the canal, which houses multiple rooms where our heroes spend their evenings. It's morning. There's coffee to be had. A servant has brought in breakfast, and along with it is a silver tray that has 3 envelopes.
Are they addressed?
Ah, yes. And the first one is addressed to Lorenzo El Magnifico. The next one is actually to Sasha. And Sasha, I forgot your character's last name, but it is upon there. And then the final one just says to the team, and you recognize the hand of Naldo, your handler from the house. Coffee is served.
So I'm going to open my one in front of everyone so they can see it.
Okay. Yours comes specifically from House Elanda, and is a missive that says that, and let me get the correct name so that I don't lie to you. It says, upon the night of the end of the summer season ball, our man, Santi Acceptati, was most vulgarly attacked and mauled by your animal, your trained pet, and as such has demanded satisfaction at your most earliest convenience. And then there's the honorifics and closings that are all the polite niceties, but the basics are there. You have been called out for a duel.
A duel. Okay, let's taking it on. Well, this. Can I respond to this, or is there?
Oh yeah, you can write up a response. Or and I'm sure that there will.
We tell them to go and shaft it up their asses.
Okay, so my response is going to be, this isn't the first time we've been called to duels for no good reason. This is a setup. I am very happy to duel you whenever you like, if you're stupid enough to believe this. If you have any ability to listen to the voice of reason, and would entertain the fact that this is a setup, then I'm very happy to discuss this with you. If, however, you want to risk life for this setup, let's go ahead.
Very good. So you seal and sand.
My name is more important, and I will fight for it.
Very good.
Whatever the circumstance. But if my monkey had committed this atrocity, I would still fight for it.
Wow. So with that, and that's a lot of ink that you've used furiously writing away, and you're still writing as the others are dealing with the other letters.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to open? Or Sasha, you opening at the same time as they're doing the others?
Yeah, I'll open mine at the same time as the others.
Okay. So as you see Lorenzo is reading his and then sits down to immediately start writing back, you look at yours, and yours comes actually from House Almari, in which they mention that a particular they say in particular you have offended House Almari through your callous manipulation of Cadet Jorah. Your callous manipulation has led to humiliation, spurning of Andrea, of our house, and as such, her brother calls you out as a point of honor.
Another duel.
However, and there's another paragraph. You may, alternatively, submit the detestable Mocklin to be placed in the stocks for no less than 48 hours in the plaza. Now you know that being placed in the stocks is a dangerous thing. First of all, they're stripped, placed in the stocks, and then left there where people can mess with them, which sometimes includes people sneaking up in the night and knifing them. So a guard would probably have to be set. That and ripe fruit sometimes changes to bricks if people are not watching. You have your guesses, Mocklin, on who may have come up with this addendum that's been added to this challenge.
I might know nothing about it unless Sasha tells me.
Ah, yes, that's true. So, Sasha, you have that missive.
I'm most certainly going to be sharing that with Mocklin. He needs to know that somebody's out to have a piece of his bum. So, yeah.
As the challenge party,
which house is this from?
Do you get to choose the weapon?
Yes.
How about a rifle at 1,000 paces?
Ooh. I'm sure it can be negotiated. So, the last letter is from Naldo. He says, "Team, for this particular social season, the three main efforts that we would hope could be addressed. First, as we have displaced both House Bjorn and House Almari in their positions, pushing House Bjorn out of the Asotari, if there is a way to foment strife betwixt, it would be greatly appreciated. The second is the Death Watch have approached our house because of our success with regaining order in the watch, and they are seeking help to determine who are the intruders that keep slipping into Necropolitan Hill. And lastly, the Signora of Roses has come upon a certain noble person's mask and has put word out that she shall auction it. We don't want that mask auctioned and would prefer it was returned. Not, he didn't say returned. Prefer it was appropriated.
So the first thing we've got to do is deal with the jewels, haven't
we? You've finished your letter, and you can have a servant take that if you would like. Lorenzo?
Yep.
And then you can wait for a response.
Is anyone going to volunteer to guard Rob?
I think the letter in that instant is going to basically read along the lines of, if you think that I am cowardly enough to expect my colleague to risk his life in the stocks for an unwarranted charge from a family like yours, you are more insane and stupid than we had ever marked you up to be. I think we will be finding, the correct time and place to settle this and remove your delusions that I had anything to do with this embarrassment that you brought down upon yourselves.
Very good.
Do we not think? Are we dueling with the offended parties, or are we dueling with the? Or are we dueling with the instigators of their plot?
So interestingly, for the Almari duel, we are dealing with one of the main protagonists.
Okay, that's just.
However, for yours, we don't know this person who was supposedly knifed by your monkey, except that he is a blade of some renown working for House Lavelle.
So I may need to kill 2 people.
No.
Well,
no.
I mean, for Mocklin, I don't mind if we go on a bloody rampage.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it would be nice that rather than basically wafting away dual threats that keep coming at us, I think we ought to go after them. Thanks very much. I'm quite happy.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we should go for the head of the house, Almari.
Well, bear in mind that we only how many things can we do this season?
Exactly.
How many houses can we take out? I think we need to go proper Scarface and take them all out.
So they will. You will have 3 sessions of which you are going after things that you want to go after. You will also have 3 sessions that have downtime in which duels can happen at the beginnings. In fact, today it is most likely that only one duel will happen, and the second one will be set for our next downtime.
So here's what my thoughts are. Okay, we remember the crab man. Lorenzo doesn't, because he was fingering a monkey. So we still got the collar. We know that Elmira is responsible for the crabman collar because we've traced. Owen said that the person who fitted the description came from that house, and that house, Lavelle. No, it begins with E. Can you get the houses up for me, please?
Yes, sir.
Elando?
Elanda. Here we go. We'll bring up the houses are here. And then what I'll do real quick is I'm actually going to bring everybody over to Roll20 so you guys can see what they're talking about. You can see the House Corvetto, Elanda, Lavelle, Battaglia, Bastion, and Almari.
Yeah, because It's Elanda, sorry. Elanda, not Elmara. Elanda. So, matey with the eye patch, who is controlling creatures to do whatever, comes from that house. Mara Moon comes from that house. The man who got stabbed by the monkey comes from that house. So we can maybe circumnavigate the duel by exposing that house, who is second in the list of head honchos, to some nefarious undergoings. We can maybe circumnavigate that.
Hang on.
Elmara.
Was the Bravo from Elanda? Because he was with Moon de Lavelle.
Bravo. Sorry, which one?
One who got cut by he's pretending to. It wasn't he with Moon de Lavelle?
Yes, he's a Lavelle.
He's a Lavelle, so not Elanda, he's a Lavelle.
I thought you told me last time that Moon was from Elanda.
She's Lavelle. Moon de Lavelle.
Right, okay.
I'll make.
So, hang on. So, is Lavelle issued Lorenzo the challenge?
Yes.
Right. That's my fault. Sorry, guys.
No.
I do this frequently.
I wanted to clarify as well. I wasn't sure.
There's a lot of moving parts.
That's on me.
Going around.
Yeah, no, that's on me. In which case, we got nothing for Lavelle. But maybe we could, let's not worry about the collar. I'll do that in my own downtime things. Make sure. But that's definitely coming from them. Almara, do you know what I would do with them? I would use one of the 3 weeks, one of the 3 sessions that we've got to track down the head houseman for Almera, and we assassinate him for underperforming, trying to make us look like jokers and belittling us. We've held you responsible, and you are paying the price. Kind of thing.
And it would go towards stopping Almara and House Bjorn getting together.
Well,
yes.
So one of the things, so basically one of the tasks we've been given is to foment strife between House Bjorn and House Almari.
So let's pretend that we're House Bjorn and leave some incriminating evidence to the effect and assassinate Almara's chief head honcho.
I have a documentation of forging kits.
House Bjorn will be wanting to get back into the House's major. And their quickest way will be to try and take out House Almari.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is I don't think we just need the assassination, we need something else as well. So basically to make it... We need to look like House Bjorn is trying to attack House Almari on a couple of fronts, probably 2 or 3.
I love it, Pietro. Right, so how about I'm going into character now. Right, so how about who's that fine dashing captain that we saved on the rocks? Who was at the ball? Who got betrothed to Monty's gal? And stormed off and went, fuck that shit, for playing with monkeys' balls. If we can get him to publicly state what happened when the rescue came along, and that's why he would like nothing to do with that house, and then we do what we need to do to publicly disgrace them. Oh, scandals. The court would love it.
Well, I think what we need to do...
That's very cool. Very
certainly
interesting.
an idea. I mean, it does kind of put him, put Sasha's paramour in danger, but okay.
He will not object to being in danger necessarily, but... I would prefer that we make sure that he is protected if we are going to ask him to.
But if
we went to the local gazette,
are we saying that we're going to go for? Because if we say we're going to go for this task, which is to basically put House Bjorn and House Almari at loggerheads,
definitely.
Right, then I think our first job is to gather information. We need all the skinny, all the dirt on what's going on at those two houses, all the criminal activities going on down at the docks, because that's where Almari is. That's their only responsibility at the moment, on transport. So I have no doubt they are smuggling, evading taxes, all the stuff that you can get up with that kind of position. So I think first thing to do is we need to leverage our contacts with the populace to find out, where all of these smuggling activities are going on. Because don't forget, we control the watch. We can nail them for that. If we know where this stuff is coming in, we can turn up. Well, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I do wonder if that is connected to the Death's Watch request about the constant parades that
invasion onto the hill. Yeah. Yeah.
The necropolis.
I'm loving it. Forming a cunning plan.
That's another task we've got. So yeah.
Well, no, but I'm wondering if that is connected to how if that is how House Elmara are.
Could be.
Doing what we're suggesting.
So anyway, I suggest we get our contacts. We've got our library. We can do some research there.
Yeah.
Cross-reference, their invoices and their receipts and their transport manifests and all sorts of that. Anyway, let's get a load of information going on, and we also need to find out what Bjorn's been up to, House Bjorn.
And I'm also an infiltrator and former a dock worker.
I blend like a book or something.
That's good work.
So I get a book, and I basically extract some of the shadow from where my arm is and some of the light, and bind it round the book. And I'm still holding it like this, or like that. But the book it's disappeared. You can't see it. I kind of mastered that. I don't know if I can do it on beams yet. But books, I can invisible books.
For a small cost, for a small fee. Before we get going too much further in what you're doing, I wanted to remind you that the format for tonight is largely going to be the return of the letters, a meeting of seconds, and a discussion on that. And then we will also go into downtime where you guys can explore all of these wonderful things you're talking about right now. So if you want to continue your conversation on your planning, I'm all for it, because that will translate into what you do in your downtime.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah.
Right. So return of the letters. Let's talk the jewels. Return of the letters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, do you have got the letters? Yes.
Very good. I heard the responses from both, and your runner takes them away. You think it'll probably be, mid-morning, maybe a little bit later before you get some form of response. During which time, if you would like, we can do a couple of quick housekeeping things. And with that, what I'll take you over is into the downtime, and we'll give you guys your payoff. All right? So let's talk about that just a little bit. And let me get to my correct page, because I did go to my correct page. Thank you very much, sweetheart.
You're welcome, darling.
So I'd like to know what you guys think about your last mission. Number one, you guys were definitely up against a higher tier than your coterie. Okay? I will give you 2 influence for that as a group. And then you get 2 influence by default So there's 4.
Are we in coterie?
I'm sorry?
Are we in coterie?
Yes. Well, you can. We're sort of getting to that. You'll decide how you decide to pull these out. You can either put it into coterie or you can put it into the other. So we have. I think. I know I'm being ridiculously generous, but I think this was actually a 6 influencer as far as the ball itself, because that's the level of like a ruinous secret was found or hidden, and I think the very fact that you save the granddaughter pushes it into that type of realm. So that's 10 influence total that I'm seeing right there for you guys to divide as you see fit. As far as favor, trying to see how I want to do this. These are from factions within the city itself. So during this particular event, I'm not seeing a gain of favor with any particular house unless you guys tell me that you think there was something that you guys actually, you know what? I will give you guys 1 favor with the commoners, and this is the people, because of saving even further the reputation of the Barbellinis. And that's going to be spread far and wide, that you guys are willing to go above and beyond to help protect the small businesses.
So Tita seemed quite grateful, didn't she, as well?
So that one would be on, let me find it.
List.
Let's see here. That would be on the factions.
That would go in Houses Minor, I guess.
Yes. So that would actually go in the top of Houses Minor, in that where there's the stars.
What about House Corvetto?
Yeah, definitely. House Corvetto, I'm going to put forward there. Granddaughter was very grateful when she finally reassured herself that she was not being set up. She had made comments that she would be making sure her grandfather...
Take House Corvetto to +1. Well done. Actually, that's really well done and well argued. That's a very important one. Now, let's take a quick look at exposure. Aside from a little bit of breakdancing and magic use, and I'm going to give you guys 3 exposure. So 2 would be contained, discreet, sensible, standard. I think the grand behavior of some of the paramours, the slashing of the monkey, the supposed slashing of the monkey, the guy. I think that there's enough exposure there that puts you up at 3 for exposure.
So we've taken an extra
add 3 on, or just takes us up to 3?
Let's see. What are you at right now?
We're at 2.
You're at 2, so you're up to 5.
Don't we lose? What do we get? There's something that stops us getting exposure. Isn't the watch? We lose.
There is something.
Our exposure.
There is something like that.
I still trying to find it.
Sphere of influence.
Anytime you. Yeah.
I will give you that, except for I'm trying to see how the watch is helping you quash a story or rumor or crime you may have snuck.
Well, anybody who's caught voicing it gets slammed up for a night.
Go ahead. What was that, Pete, too?
It just says any time you would take exposure, take 1 less.
So I'm perfectly happy. Go ahead and take one less, so make it 2, and we will call it good. Let's give it to you.
So what are we on total? 4.
4.
All right.
What happens when you fill your influence?
When you fill your influence, you wind up losing. You can bank some of it. I'm trying to. I'll have to get back to one of your characters to look at it.
You'll never fill your influence, I don't think.
So, how
many influence have you got then, Felix?
3. 3 in my character. We've got 1 in the coterie, haven't we?
Yep. So in the coterie, when you're there and you just moved it down there, you can bank some of the coteries where it just sort of goes away. And I'll have to look in the book. You guys can look in the book as well, which goes towards your ending status when you're at the end of the game. The problem with influence is, unlike cold hard cash that you can just stuff away somewhere, people tend to start forgetting. It's just too much for people to keep track of, and once you sort of get to the end of your full influence, you've sort of tapped out how influence works.
So I'm thinking we got 10 influence this last session. How about we take 1 influence each, personal influence? That's 5. And then we add the rest to the coterie, but we'll be spending. We want to spend some to reduce exposure, and possibly to do a couple of other things. Yeah?
And we'll roll on the exposure thing later on as you guys have do some exposure.
Does everyone agree with that?
Okay, so if we do that and we fill influence on the coterie, then we've got 2 to spend, and we can spend more if we want to. We have to spend 2.
We have to spend 2, or at least 2.
That's the least amount we have to spend.
Yeah.
If we fill up influence.
Yeah. But the point is, we could. Yeah, that's right. So we'll fill up influence. We'll spend 2, and we have a lot of influence. It's time to spend it. Getting information and doing the dirty on our enemies.
Yeah, it's about time that they learn just exactly what we can dish out.
Exactly.
Nice.
Stop receiving.
And what about coterie XP? Where are we with that?
So now we can get into XP, if you guys would like to do that before we.
Can we just stop for a second? So
Absolutely.
What are we marking off where on this influence side of things, please?
Right. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll fill up influence on the coterie. The thing is, it doesn't matter if we spend influence personally or we'll fill that up. So that's 3. That leaves 2 left over. I can bank that for now, and then I will spend it. Actually, I can't bank it.
Can we to get more special abilities, or I don't know?
That's gonna come with your experience points here shortly.
All right.
Hang on, so because I'm on 3 influence at the moment, I've only got 1 slot left in influence. If I gain another influence from the, if you're saying that basically each of us takes 1 influence from the 10 that we've got, what happens when you fill your influence up?
You lose. You don't keep any.
Yeah. Okay. Are you okay with us? I mean, we've got this influence. Are you okay with us? Just
dishing it around.
Tell you what, the stuff
we fill up all of our tracks.
That sounds fair. So you guys have that, and you know that you can spend influence for extra downtime activities, correct?
Yeah.
So if you would like, let's see, what does it cost? Each additional activity costs 1 influence. So if you've got extra ones right now that you know you're going to wind up losing, keep that in mind and take an extra training or something like that. So let me.
I didn't need it last time because I'd taken my stress down to nothing. So
yeah. Okay. So everyone have 1. Put the influence on the coterie up to 4, and then we have 2, which we need to spend.
So what's our coterie XP? Let's see if we can get it.
Coterie XP should be 4. Sorry, XP. Sorry, yes, XP.
So we're on 5 XP. How much more are we going to get?
So I can take a quick look.
XP triggers on your character sheet.
So we can look at the XP.
Look at the XP triggers.
If you go to Coterie.
I think we overcame an obstacle with Audacity, didn't we?
I do.
The maximum XP we can get is 4.
So you continued. You did. So you did the second one above your station. I'll give you the third one.
The third one.
We've got a good reputation and a bad reputation.
And I think you get the fourth with all of your dealing with all of your drives, conflicts, your characters, paramours, and everything that you're having to deal with. Monty's having to. Flat out, his down arrow person on his character sheet is driving a set of problems for you. So absolutely.
We get a fifth trigger as well, don't we, for the waters in which we swim?
Yes, you do.
So that gives us 5, puts us a full track.
Wow.
Then in which case, we get an extra thingy.
Yes, you do.
So we're back down to 0. And
so
then
what are you going to take?
Do we want?
What's an extra? I understand.
An extra special ability?
Yes.
A well-earned acclaim. Whenever we get favour, we take 1 additional point of favour.
Wow.
Or
I'm thinking a matter of charity.
So am I, because that plays right into our hands for tonight's session, doesn't it?
Absolutely does. And we can spend
What does everybody else think?
Yeah.
That's not bad at all. You don't even have to worry about making a roll and failing or getting low. You just flat out buy it and get that information from the beggars. Now, it does have to be downtrodden.
We've got to spend influence to use it, but we're almost guaranteed shit. So we'll just say that, yeah?
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. Okay. So a matter of charity, and we're back
Very
at 0.
good. So we'll really quickly go through, and we'll jump on Lorenzo really rapidly. Go to your character's XP triggers, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
So you
just the challenge with evasion. Well, I kind of distracted.
Yep. Go for it.
Handle mayhem. So yeah, it was handle mayhem. So I got that one.
Got it. I think you did both. So let's give you those 2.
Thank you. And then you expressed your belief, drives, heritage, and background. I went into starting remembering some major shit that was happening in the orphanage.
Yep.
Something was going on with the woman that was running it and doing some fraud. I still can't remember.
Yep. And you used your heritage for your magic tricks and the things that you were doing. I'm not sure about struggling with issues on indulgences or scandals.
Well, there's a monkey running around stabbing people. It may not be true.
There's indulgence.
Shit.
So
I'm about to get duel someone over at this scandal.
Let's see here. What scandal do you have written down under scandals? You have, strangely enough, he's a good boy. You have Underworld written in scandals where it should be above in background. So scandals are sentimental, wicked. Well, you don't have a scandal, okay? Which is there's only one of you that actually has a scandal at this point, which are the things that will eventually kill you once you've got enough of those.
Fine. So I've got 3
scandals.
1.
So
I will 3.
Yes, you do.
So
1,
3
2,
XP.
3.
That'll take me out 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I've still got 4 left to get the.
Yeah.
So you can also put them over. Yep, I see what you're saying. So, yep, very, very good.
I can't put them anywhere else but character XP, can I?
You can put them. Character XP goes towards getting a new special ability. or you can put them in body, or you can put them in mind, or you can put them in spirit as you're building towards getting another dot. Okay?
Yeah.
I think right now it looks like you're working hard towards getting a new special ability. Okay, let's then jump across to let's go to Rob.
Oi, oi.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so address the challenge with arcane knowledge and or power. Yes, definitely not an issue.
Absolutely.
Sasha, dress, no need to say anymore. I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. Yes, I had to dance with Moon.
Yep.
Which is part of my background because we were a thing, and she hates me, and I detest the ground that she walks on. Struggled with issues from your indulgence and or scandals. That's the only thing. I think I should get a +2 for that because I embraced my scandal and I worked it like no other beggar could work it.
And we did see that you were getting slandered in the broadsheets. There are several things like that are building. So go ahead and take that. So I think you get the full 4 because you used arcane knowledge where you recognized a new power
The
type.
assassin.
And then, not only that, you used your power to help solve it. So we'll go with that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's have Monty.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Monty did a great deal in that particular session. He didn't really do anything stealthy. He did spot the fraying of the dress slightly, but didn't have the opportunity to do anything with it in that sense.
Yes. So I think you definitely got the perception. There wasn't a lot of chances for you to be really stealthy. I'm trying to remember back to what...
I was going to do something, but I think Sasha had, or someone else had acted in the meantime before it came back around, so they'd already handled it by the time.
Now, and as far as beliefs, drives, heritage, and all that, and background.
How about that?
So your background, I'm sort of mixing the two up together with your particular indulgences. I'd like to say that your down arrow problems are definitely part of your background, and then it just is interesting that your down arrow is also mixed up with your indulgence, which is causing another problem. So I definitely think you got 3 off of that, don't you?
Okay. In that case, I will put them in mind and take a point.
Very good. So, Sasha, what do you think?
Wow. I think I definitely addressed a challenge with pursuit and or observation, which was dealing with the mishap on the dress side of things.
Cool.
So I definitely feel that was done.
Do you feel you definitely did with observation? What about the pursuit? Talk to me about that side of it.
Well, that was persuading, and I'm sorry, I always forget the name, but the granddaughter.
Yes.
Because I persuaded her, forcefully persuaded her, didn't I?
Tita Corvetto, yeah.
Tita Corvetto, that basically we didn't mean her harm. We weren't the ones who were doing this to her.
You nailed that role.
So I commanded her to accept the fact that we were the innocents along with her, and we were basically there to defend her honor.
Very good.
So
absolutely. All you need is conviction, and I'll give you the points. So you had those top 2. I definitely think you have the bottom one because here you are dealing with the problems that Cadet Jorah's got going on. And then as far as beliefs, drives, and heritage background, talk me through that one.
Not so sure on that one, to be honest. I don't know.
Okay. I'm trying to put that together as well. I guess if we struggle a whole bunch on trying to make it work and make it fit, we should probably just let that one go. So are you happy with 3?
Yeah, I'm happy with 3.
Very good. All right. Pietro.
Yes. So first, a question: is our house rank 4? Or better?
No, it is not. If we jump back across the houses really rapidly, you guys. So it's 1, 2, 3. So you're down at the. Actually, you know what?
We equal 4.
I think so, because you guys are tied for 4, but you're just below them. So I'll give that to you.
Okay,
so what is that going to let you do?
We get the 4th dot is now accessible.
Ooh. All right. I'm pulling down here to take a look at your XP triggers. And I'll try and sort of center it over here so if anyone's watching can see. I don't think I did that as well on some of the others. So down here we have our XP triggers. And the top one, of course, is addressed a challenge with expertise and or calculation. And you're trying to get 2 points out of that.
So there was the time when I ushered the Bravo out of the room who had been cut to avoid the scene of the actual party.
You did. Absolutely. A lot of exposure got moved away on that you probably would have had if that guy had been hooting and hollering and yelling about. In fact, might have turned into a duel right then and there, which I had been sort of prepared for in my mind. So absolutely, sure.
Yeah.
Take those.
And obviously, it's difficult to say what's expertise, what's calculation when it comes to sway and social situations. But
very good.
I think I addressed at least 2 or 3 challenges. Must have ticked off both of those.
I'm perfectly happy with that. And your express, what about beliefs, drives, heritage, and background?
Well, always top on fashion.
And
that may be Gauche.
Yeah, I do remember that. And how you stepped forward to take that dance with Tita, even though knowing that any dance with Tita is a potential dangerous situation. And you guys came out of this instead of being humiliated in front of the major house, coming out with a plus.
Yeah, turned it around.
And I think you did struggle with issues from your indulgences and scandals, which has to do. Let's see here.
Well, they were obviously targeting the Barbolini dress.
Yes.
Which is opened up for them because of my association with
absolutely
with the Barbolinis. So,
so very, very good. So go ahead, take your 4, and everybody envy him. I think we had 2 people that managed to sneak that out this time. Rob. And so with that said,
sometimes you've got to flaunt what you got. What can I say?
And let me go back across to downtime. Okay, so we've done all of that. And before we get to your downtime activities, there is a knock at the door. And someone is typing furiously, taking notes, or working. It's probably Rob having to work in his spare time while he plays. No problem, man. And there are 2 letters brought to you on the silver tray by the footman for this apartment block. It says, "Sir, ma'am," and bows and proffers that out. And you can see that they are addressed, as you would expect, back to Lorenzo and back to Sasha. To Lorenzo Magnifico and Sasha Mendoza.
Yeah, so can I open them?
Very good. So let's deal with yours first then, Lorenzo. The answer is Very well. Accepted. And if you would have your seconds, please meet at Andretti's coffee shop tomorrow, 10 a.m. We'll discuss the requirements for this event.
Do we have to send seconds?
That's tradition.
Okay.
Because your person is not going to be there. The person you're mad about is not going to be there.
Well, I can still go. Okay.
You might want to tell your folks what you want them to say, because we found that causes problems sometimes.
Yeah, I kind of.
I want to go shock and awe.
There's one person I'm not sure I'm going to send.
So, Sasha, yours says roughly the same thing, except it's for a couple of days further out. So after we've done most of our downtime activities, if we have time at the end of the session, we'll have the meeting with your second.
So I'd like Betty's coffee shop as well.
You can do that.
Okay. Wait, have we got one of those little cards where you get a stamp for every coffee that you've got?
Actually, you guys have that for every. You guys have that for every duel you've ever had. So you
every duel, and if you fill the card in, you get a free duel.
Exactly. So would you guys like? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to send Sasha and Monty.
Very good. So would you like to?
Sorry, can I finish? Sorry. And I'd like to give them some instructions
Yes.
on the weapon I'd like to use and so forth. Yeah.
Very good.
Duel by monkey.
No, I'd like to have a duel by razor blade. Because I want this to be. I don't want to be shooting and killing someone from a distance. Because I may want to put the squeeze on him and try and get even more information out of him. I don't mind it not going to death. You don't have to go to death. I'm quite happy for it not to go to death. I think we should go to submission.
Ooh.
I think we should
go to death. Send that message that nobody fucks with this house.
You were totally insulted, you and the monkey. Definitely, it's to the death. No question.
You did say.
I'm glad you're not sending Lachlan and.
I will say, Felix, in your letter, you did say you didn't mind if it was to the death.
You did.
I remember you saying that.
You did.
Yeah, absolutely said that.
And I think this house needs to take a stance. Nobody issues a challenge without losing bodies.
I'm disappointed that you put B up for the death, but you're not prepared to put your body on the line.
I didn't put anyone up for death.
I think it should be to the death of your monkey.
Oh man!
Again,
monkey's not coming. Monkey's not going to be put in any danger.
Very good.
So no pats, razor blades, cutthroats. I'd rather go for, or maces.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so I'm whispering Sasha and Monty going to the death. I beseech thee.
To the death. Grenades.
Grenades.
Monkey at 50 paces.
Or do we send our own pets to be our second?
Actually, you did quite. I seem to remember you did quite well with that cannon.
We could, yeah.
That was Monty. You did the flying cannon.
Duel by cannon.
Duel by cannon. Absolutely.
You can shoot Monty across with the pike like you did before.
At sea in rowboats with cannons, and you've got to sink your opponent.
Punts.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I will ask.
Was that punt? So I did. Just wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we going to have another beeping thing that we've got to do? Oh. So, with that said, let us leap across in time to this particular coffee shop. It sits down on one of the smaller canals that turns its way through the Guild. And it has a bit of just a little fringe of grass that they've carefully kept that's in between the cobbles of the esplanade and the building itself. A couple of flowers growing. And through the double windows, which are open actually at this time of morning because it's so balmy, the air is like bath water, and it's a bit still today. So they've opened the windows to keep it the little bit of circulation they possibly can have. Sitting at a table, dappled with sunlight, there's a red and white check tablecloth across the table. There are various coffee concoctions in front of Sasha. And you say Monty? Were those the two that went? No.
Yep.
Yeah, Sasha and Monty.
That is what he said, yeah. For some reason, he thinks I won't fairly represent him. I don't know why.
I do not
Maybe
understand
that I have a beef. I want to get some revenge.
There's a small glass vase in the middle of the table, out of which comes a carnation. It's a little pink carnation with a little bit of baby's breath. Across from you is an older man with a serious, though he keeps giving you a little half smile as he's doing the morning chat. You can tell behind it is a air of grave seriousness. He has done this before. And he says, okay, I think the time of pleasantries is past. Let us get down to what we must.
If I was there, I'd be like, all right then.
I bet you would. He says,
This is why I didn't say no.
Monty, Sasha, I understand that you have said that your primary is interested in hand blades.
That was his request.
Or maces, given preferably hand blades.
This is highly unusual. Maces themselves are highly unusual. I would suggest that my primary would probably be happy with hand blades, and by that I mean small daggers, knives. We could set a limit on length of the blade if you so prefer.
I've got a specific request.
Monty? Sasha?
Yes, I think that was my understanding of what he wished for. So yes. I think keeping the blade, if it is blade you choose of the weapons he offered you, I think we keep it smaller.
Let's keep this on the negotiation table between the knives and the maces that you have put forward as the group, as the party that's been called. Let us discuss next the satisfaction that is required. My primary was a bit surprised with the immediate offer of to the death. We would be satisfied with first blood, first touch. We would be satisfied with submission. Let us possibly de-escalate this for our primaries, if that is at all possible.
I am primary also mentioned submission as well as a preferred option.
I am under some pressure from my house to accept the offer of to the death, but I am the one here, and therefore I will make this decision.
Based on some of the influences at play, to the death probably benefits.
I think as this incident, both parties were perhaps upset, and that is why the to the death was raised. But I think you are right. It is not necessary to take this to that length. I think to submission or to first blood would be probably a wiser choice.
May I tell my primary and those that have sent me that you talked me down from to the death?
Oh, no. I think you will talk us down from the death. Our letter was most detailed in that. I'm sorry. You were the ones who demanded this duel. If anybody is to say we were stepped down, it would be us.
He puts his hands. He's like, I'm simply asking. I am under pressure to accept to the death. If you can find any way to help me carry a different message back to my house and to my primary, it would be appreciated. However, absolutely are ready to accept the proposed to the death. And he waits to see if you guys have something to help him not be the one that has to show he backed down.
And we look at him with the exact same look on our faces of, he needs to find something to help us. But we weren't the ones to back down because we weren't the ones that started this stupid dance.
Yeah, the only, he says, my main problem is with the offer to the death that was latched onto by some in the house who see this as a opportunity.
Son,
we would both have to talk. We would both have to. Both first would have to be agreeable to back down. An equal submission. Or
he says, I have spent some time of my life. I have spent some time of my life training Santi, and would loathe see him in a situation. And I did not mean to move the sheet, so I will move that back. Apologize. Perhaps we couldn't determine the weapon, and therefore, and he's trying. You can tell he's really trying to think of a way to avoid having to go back and say that he didn't do what his house told him to do. But he really doesn't want to get into a situation where he puts his dear student into this situation. He says, "What if? What
about we have a duel of custard pies?"
He laughs. He says, "If it only were such." He says, "What if your principal is ill, and maybe he can only should not be called upon to." And now he's asking you to impinge your honor that you're basically lie and say that he is ill to try and get out of a duel to the death, instead going for something lesser.
We will not be dishonest in this.
I was afraid
it's
you would
wrong of
say
you
so.
to ask us to dishonor our house in that way.
It is, and I apologize for it.
We understand where you are coming from in your desire to step it down, but do not ask us to damage our house reputation. No.
Somebody wants one of us to lose a valuable asset. Is part of this, and it's neither of us at this table. On your side or ours.
That is true.
someone is manipulating the situation for their own ends. And the best way we can do that is to not have anyone die needlessly.
He thinks. He says, I see no clear path. I do know in my house who is manipulating this. He shakes his head. Says, how if so
and I take it whoever it is that is manipulating this is not the one that is risking their neck.
We look when we go in charge of the watch. We can potentially make things difficult if something is needed.
He looks at you with a sort of knowing look and says, "Yes, I do think that she who is behind this would never take a risk with her own life."
Yes.
He says, "Do you accept the tradition that when dueling with hand knives, that we will bind the offhands?"
Can't see a reason we would object to that.
It's the same for both parties.
Indeed.
Very well. What length blade? He seems like he's sort of given up on.
Razor blades are normally around about what, 2 inch?
Yeah, safety razors.
Don't forget, they've got to have the aloe vera strip so the skin doesn't get smarted when it cuts.
Chafing. Can't really do
it. Nice.
Sorry, I'm not there.
So hand knives. Shall we say 5 inches?
The cutthroat razor style.
Yeah,
was the
I
preferred
think about 5
option.
inches is probably.
Yeah.
So let us say, since my pupil is not used to the folding loose form of weapon, what if we say single-edged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay with that.
Testing information.
Says very well. So single-edged knives, no longer than 5 inches, to be inspected at the date. Hands bound.
Offhands
bound by silk.
Not both hands.
Yeah. Though that might solve our problems. He laughs.
Yeah. We end up with a boxing match if we've yes, as intended.
You're not supposed to be having fun.
Here's what I would say.
No, because if we were having fun, it would have been a duel to the death, wouldn't it?
He says, how if we say this? Because it would be a disgrace for either house to have a man simply standing above another, stabbing him with a knife while he is down. That we do go to submission.
Yes.
I think that is a wise call.
I think
What's
that's
man's name again?
Santi Acceptati. And he is a brilliant boy. But I'm afraid easily manipulated by a pretty face.
Yes.
I think there was an expectation that you were going to take the second option, which, to be fair, sounds pretty funny. He chuckles.
Sorry, I've lost now. I've lost track.
The section option, the stalking of that Mocklin fellow. The gauche one. Now there would have been a sight to see.
How does he know about that?
Because their house gave the letter?
No?
That was the other.
Lovetto was.
I'm sorry. No. He doesn't know
Lorenzo.
about that completely. That's all on me. Modify
Shooting now, Sasha.
Wow.
That's some conversations going on.
Modify the fiction to reflect a mistake by the GM on which of the two that was. I apologize. Very good.
It's a good job we're a professional role-playing
yes,
outfit,
exactly.
isn't it?
We would never screw up like that. Very good. He says, location. There is always the Bridge of Regret, which is fairly traditional. You guys know of it. It is a fairly traditional place for it. It's a wider stone bridge. It has a nice flat open space in the middle. Has about 3 or 4 stairs up on each side, and is over the canal. It has a couple of balustrades and some railing that have usually they have some plants growing across it. Whether or not it's they're hanging there in hanging baskets, or if they're wrapped, it just depends on the season and what's going on. But it is easily viewable from the esplanades along the left of the south bank, and then there are buildings right up to it on the far side that people many times will go to the windows or will pay to go to the windows to watch one of these events, as well as many times there are boats below.
So sorry, roughly whereabouts in the city is that we're talking about?
So in the city, we would say, and I'm going to just jump across to the maps, except I'll pull you along with me when we go to the map, as I should. So what I'll say is, it's roughly this bridge right in here. Okay? Going across to the Silk from the Gilt, and is a you'll have to have guards block it off on each end, because it's a thoroughfare at other times.
Can arrange that.
Very good.
Because they want a public.
A day hence.
We're not going to charge tickets.
Very well. A day hence. He stands up, shakes your hands. He pays for all your coffees and gives you a short bow and leaves.
So that's the bridge by the dead ferry, isn't it?
That's funny. Oh no, yeah. That weird thing in the water. Like, what is that right there?
Yeah.
It's a dead ferry.
Makes sense.
It's a person in a boat with an oar.
We have seen ferries show up to these type of things before.
It is a man in a punt.
Okay, yeah, no, it is a man in a punt. As I get closer in, I can see it.
Very good.
From a distance, it looks like a dead ferry. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys want to go tell? Let's hear your description to Lorenzo of what you've set up for him. As you guys are back in the room, he is sitting there petting his monkey. Are you having a drink, Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Can we say that live on stream? This
yes.
is an 18.
He's not waxing his dolphin. He's petting his monkey. Very different. Very different. You can only say one.
So one's a stroke. The other one's just a good beating.
So both Mocklin and Pietro, I'm sure you guys all look up when they come in, because this is very interesting.
No, I'm disgruntled that I wasn't chosen to go and accompany them, so I take no interest whatsoever. I'm still trying to enlarge my invisibility thing.
Very good. Okay. So, what do you say, Monty? Let him know.
You'll be pleased to know it is not to the death.
Oh, great. Very good news. Thank you very much.
Blades no longer than 5 inches, offhand bound to submission. They were pushing. He did He did reveal some information about who may be responsible.
Tell me everything that was said.
He said somebody in their house was pushing to accept to the death, and he said that she was pushing. So
yes, she is happy to risk the necks of others,
but not her own.
But not her own.
Thank you for telling me all the conversation. It's interesting that my opponent isn't skilled with a razor, not quite good with the clasp. Maybe we should oil them up.
So, very good.
Yes.
What do you want to do for your downtime activity, your first downtime activity, Felix, during this day as you're waiting for your duel?
The problem is, whatever I do, I can't particularly... I could reduce stress. I'm at 4. Is that worth reducing? Probably not. I don't have much in body, mind, or spirit that I'm going to be able to, even if I just get 1 more point in that, it's not going to make any difference. I can spend some influence.
Okay. And do what?
What can I do with influence?
You can influence people with it.
Yes, you can do that. Now, what
you can for extraction, for training, or whatever, or injuries, or whatever.
So basically, what I'm going to do is ask each of you guys to give me your first activity, and then we'll come back to Felix's duel. So, Felix, you are a bit under the gun here, and you will be on spectacle to the town. You do not know if this man that you will face has it out for an actual kill or not. A lot of things to think about as you spend this evening. You have one other person in your group who has been in your exact shoes, if not worse. Might be interesting to talk to him and see how he dealt with the stress of this evening.
Because now that I know it's not to the death, I'm not too stressed. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing probably what I need to do is I'll do some practicing in. I'll be playing around with the flick knife to make sure that I'm perfect at it. So that's kind of training in hunt.
Okay, so you don't train in hunt; you would train in the trait.
In mind.
Very good.
I'll train in body. Sorry.
Okay. So you spend the day perfecting your skills, your rapid movements. Do you enlist anyone else to help?
Well, I'm going to be also training. I'm going to say now. I'm also going to be training in body.
Very good.
For mine.
So we'll train
preparing myself, doing some sharpshooting, doing some knife work, just basically readying myself for.
Do you want to try a little bit of that tied hand thing with Lorenzo?
Tied hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, your offhand is bound.
Yeah, so I'll bind. Oh. Yeah, so
basically, it'll be bound to your waist, I think.
No, you're bound together.
Oh, bound together. I see.
Yes.
Bound to the other person.
Yes.
Okay.
That's bloody awful.
Yes.
And is that? Did you? If you were to bind it, would that be forfeiting something?
Yep.
Yeah.
What would happen then?
They would
lose.
Yeah, you'd probably be a loss of face and everything else, and demanded apologies and blah blah blah.
So I'd like to practice forcing him into cutting the ties.
Trying to find a way to lift the ties so that the strike goes.
When he strikes or slashes, that it it does that.
I'm just wondering,
using it as a shield.
Why don't you approach? I mean, our house has dual. Why don't you approach one of those and get some training?
Yeah.
Specifically on this kind of duel. So, do we know if this other guy is right or left-handed?
Ooh, I never asked that. Good question.
That might be. I might throw you. If he's left-handed and you're not,
we're going for each other's backs.
Well, no, you're going for any bit of him you can reach.
No, because you would bind. If you're right-handed, you would bind your left hand. But if he's left-handed, you would be binding your left hand to his right hand. So you're now basically
no, because if he's
you're round the back of him and he's round the back of you.
So if he's right-handed and you're right-handed, obviously because you're facing each.
Yeah, that's better.
If he's if you're opposite hands, then it's to the side. So I'm trying to remember from the party. Do I remember if there was any indication of what hand he was?
You know what? I will. I will let. So who was observing this guy the most?
Well, I guided him.
I was.
You did. You guided him out. Let's say you're thinking back now to which hand he had on his resting upon his pommel. You don't know if it's a cross draw or a straight draw. You would assume it's a cross draw. You think you remember that I'm not going to make you roll for this. I think you remember that he had his right hand placed firmly on the pommel of his rapier.
Which would make him a lefty.
Well, let me see.
If you're standing there, you rest your hand.
You're right. Okay, so let me rephrase that because I was putting it wrong in my head. It is the left hand that was there that would indicate that he's right-handed.
Okay. Fine.
Which hand did the monkey cut?
He did. He cut the guy's butt.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he has no idea who the monkey was then. He had his butt to him. Here he is offended about a monkey.
Well, strangely,
he doesn't know whose monkey it was.
Strangely, the lady who was standing right next to him was able to ID it and say that that's what happened. Though
but we all know that she's a crock of shit.
Yes, strangely, the lady next to him. Perhaps the lady, is the one who's willing to put his neck on the block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pietro does offer some advice, which is, as this is a public duel, you should make sure that you're wearing fine clothes because they will make you feel better. And obviously,
clean breeches.
So I think
normally duels are done in dark and out of the way, aren't they? This is what was making.
Well, I think this is where you were set up, which is this house wants a big public duel, so they offered you the most public location first, and you accepted. But make sure you're well dressed. If nothing else, if you die, then you'll be a well dressed corpse.
Yeah. Good.
I'll dress up well.
Okay. So you do your train. Well, you do your training, Lorenzo. You can either do it with Sasha, or you may do it with Naldo, who is your handler and is also the house blade master.
We'll all train together.
Very good. So get your point. And Sasha, you may have your point as well.
Thank you.
And then Pietro, what do you do with your downtime piece?
I'm going to indulge my luxury to reduce some stress.
Okay. I'm going to pull up something. So I just want to make sure I'm keeping track of your characters. So, are you thinking about, what's his name? The starving artist Franco de Vita, who paints the Rubenesque nudes? Are you thinking about Cosimo Rossi. Let me see if I can get him here. That's the guy who you debated all the points of theater art. He's the rising star in the theater.
Yeah, but he's being sponsored by House Lavelle, so...
Yes, he is.
Antonio is...
Could you not steal him away from House Lavelle? That would offend them greatly. And would definitely be a feather in our cap.
I know, as Antonio is the Iberican, he's sponsored by House Almari, so he would be a better one to go for.
Aha.
Okay. So where are you going?
I'm going to go and talk to Antonio at the School of Foreign Arts.
Antonio
there.
Let me double check this on my list so I keep track of it. Let's see here. Oh my word. Have I not put Antonio on that list? Yes, the School of Foreign Arts. Is that correct?
That's right.
So that is interesting. Being down where it is on the map, you know that. Let me see here. School of Foreign Arts is down by the Trinket area, which is not too far from the Spindle and all this area. While down in the Trinket, you are going to see walking through a man in an academic, going probably towards the universities. He's wearing academic robes. He appears to be at least the sort of roughly the same coloring as Monty. Sort of a little Iberican as far as the cast, the eyes, and coloring. And the thing that stands out is, even though he's carrying a book and he has a couple of students following along chatting with him, is that he has only one eye, as the other has an eye patch. Just so you know.
Yeah. I think I know who that is.
And he's heading towards the university as you are going to your location.
Okay.
So, you continue, I assume? You go to the school. What exactly do you do for your de-stressing and indulging?
Well, mainly, discussing the arts, looking at the work of the foreign artists. Here they have a fine exhibition of avant-garde pottery.
They do. Absolutely. And they are Iberican, of all things. Monty, what are some of the patterns that you would expect out of Iberica?
Sort of more alternating colours with some kind of zigzag sawtooth patterns, some kind of curled shell effects as well. Those sorts of.
Pietro really appreciates this the modern non-figurative.
Very good.
Art.
All right. Are you going to make that roll for us?
Yes. So.
And I'm trying to remember that off the top of my head as you are doing your downtime activity of indulging.
Just a D6, isn't it?
I think it is.
That's my lowest.
It's your lowest. It's your lowest trait. So it's just a D6. What do we get?
3.
3. Is that good? Is that below what you needed?
I'd prefer higher.
Fair enough. But at least you didn't overindulge and cause a problem. So you reduced your stress by 3 and carry on. We already have discussed Sasha. And Monty, what are you thinking about for your first downtime activity?
Monty, first of all, he's having a shave.
Very good.
He's trimming the beard down a bit and working on his moustache, putting on a different nose and changing his skin tone a little bit. And he's getting disguised up, ready to go. And he's making a little House Bjorn sort of seal.
Oh.
And he's going to go out to the docks and try and mingle and gather some information on out in the docks.
Very, very good. So, are you starting a long-term project or an intrigue? So I will have to look at the book and see what that says on intrigue. I apologize, because that is
two racing clocks. It says.
Yeah, an intrigue is a special long-term clock that establishes covert action to change something about the balance of power of the city. Intrigue clock difference. A pair of racing clocks. So the player's clock typically begins at 6. The opposition's 4. Okay. Well, if you would like to start this intrigue, I am happy to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my question then, you need to ask. So remind me of this so I can place these prominently on. You may put your set of racing clock, your racing clock on your character sheet if you would like. Who or what is the target of your intrigue?
I'm trying to find basically if we trying to confirm suspicions of smuggling in the docks, preferably, and any involvement of what other houses are involved in using said.
An intrigue, or is that a gather information?
That's where I was thinking.
Okay, if it's gather information, yeah.
So it's that, or if you're doing an intrigue, you're trying to accomplish something. Because my next question would be, what do you mean to do, and what are you risking? So if you're wanting to change something, alter something, that's perfectly fine as that particular clock. If you would prefer to go after,
I think your gather information is probably more reflective, because I don't think we're doing anything with that information at this time. Just
fair enough. I'm
seeing what's there.
I'm happy to do that. Usually we reserve those the gather information for right before you're going on an event. But I see what you're doing, and what I'd like you to do is pick something that's fairly hard to discover, and we'll make it basically a long-term project. And tell me what it is, and we'll come up with a number of segments, so that you'll probably be able to figure it out. If not this time outright, then next time.
Trying to find any secret dock or secret warehouse location where contraband and certain things are being stored.
All right. Give me a 6-segment clock at the bottom of your character sheet, and you may make a roll now. Pick if you want to go ahead and pick a trait, an attribute to go after that.
So I would use survey.
Okay.
And I get an extra dice for survey rolls.
Very good.
So I will do that.
Let's see it.
So is this desk controlled?
It's actually going to be risky.
Okay.
And but it'll have a standard effect once you have finished the whole thing. But this will continue to be risky as you're lurking about the docks in disguise, poking about, trying to find this particular information.
Okay, so
there we go. There's a 6. There's a 6 we wanted. So that gives you, is that 3 pieces? Is that correct? Yes, because 4 would have been if you had a double 6. So yes. So you get 3 pieces to your segment. So you're halfway there. One more little 6 like that, and you'll be exactly where you want to be. So what you do learn of this is there is a secret dock. You don't know where, but you have heard it mentioned a couple of times now. And definitely it has to do with the Almaris. But strangely, it seems to have also something to do with the armory. So those are the little pieces of information that you've got. So you can probably narrow your search out to the armory.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you.
All right.
Which is in charge of the armory?
That's a good question. Let's see. Let us take a quick look at who might be in charge of the armory, because that might be very interesting in itself.
Battalion's got the arsenal.
You mean
The arsenal.
same
I meant
thing?
arsenal.
Okay.
So it's battalion. Sorry about that. All right. Let us then move across. I think, Rob, you're the last one to do something before we get to the bleeding.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I am going to. I'm going to go in for some downtime.
Okay.
And I'm in my downtime. I am going to go to the Necropolitan Hill, and I'm going to unleash so much obscene magic that I raise the foul demon spawn and get them to ravage everyone.
Yeah.
Apart from my house. And then we're going to take over, and then we're going to rule supreme. Woo-hoo!
That was fast.
Okay.
You know.
God damn it. It's so close. No, I'm going to... nearly had you, though. I did actually get you to go...
Oh, yes.
Yes. So we should clip that. If only I was on the website. If only I was actually watching. Right, so I need to get rid of some stress because I feel that Lorenzo's duel is going to be very stressful.
Very good.
Okay, so the best way of doing that is I'm going to go and see my paramour. I'm going to drag her out of work. And when the cocktail owner starts to, I'm just going to lob some coins on the table and go, she's coming. Don't make me prove. Yeah, don't make me prove how gauche I am.
I would never say so. He says as he sweeps the vast pile of coins you stumped on there into his pockets, and everybody else in the room is going, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" You sweep her off her feet.
Yes, I do. I carry her out of the door while she's giggling, full of delight, and then we're going to. I've got just the place. And I'm going to go to Barbolini's, and I'm going to say to her, any dress on me. And this doesn't come out of the house. This comes out of my own personal coinage. And then we're going to go and basically have a nice meal. We're going to go to the orchestra. We're going to, because she loves music, so we're going to do that. And then we'll see what happens after that.
Wonderful. Well done. Let's make this roll.
So
your lowest straight.
It's the lowest shit that I've got. No bonuses. Get rid of 3 stress.
There we go. Well done.
And that leaves me with 1. Perfect.
And you have definitely done a favor to the Barbalanis. They're greatly excited to see you and the coinage you bring in.
So, influence. Okay, can I spend an influence point?
For?
I would like, if they're there, I would like to scope out the orchestra seating area to see if the place has got like a civilized tabloid.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to see if the chief editor is there.
I see your thoughts.
And if he is, I would like to use my personal influence point to see if we can engage in a conversation.
Why don't you give me a luck roll on a 1, 2, 3? She's there. Just single 6-sided dice. Yes, it's a she. How could you be so sexist?
Quite easy. I'm the gauche. Right. So look, no, go away, you. I don't want you. I want this. Thank you. 1d6. And no, she's not.
Unfortunately, she's not there tonight. But you do know that she does attend fairly often. And I'll even coffee up a name that we can start adding to our
So in which case, I won't use my influence for that because she's not there.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, but once I once I see her and what have you, I've got a small little cunning, dark mastermind, almost Megamind-like plan.
I love it. And what I'll do here is I'll put the name in here.
Okay, for the audience, the GM is currently typing ... Boom. I think that's her name. ...
Novella Fimolin. All right.
Fimolin.
So
editor of broadsheet.
A broadsheet. We'll come up with the name of the broadsheet at some point. So let us move across because we've been icing the kicker long enough. I think you guys use the same term over here. So here's the bridge, and Santi. And have I pulled you across, or have I just? No, I haven't. As I
we can see it.
I did. Okay.
Yeah,
wonderful.
He deserves a fight to the death.
And you can see where he stands as far as fatigue and defense and level-headedness, and his distractions. On the side towards the buildings, they have made a place for you and your seconds to stand. They are on the far side, and there are a couple of boats that are moving up and down. They seem to be deliberately moving about 100 yards up and down the canal so that they can continue to return and see what's going on during this exciting event. How did you dress him, Pietro?
Well, I didn't specify. I just suggested that he should, wear his finest. But that's up to him. I mean, I'm expecting something interesting.
Very good.
High fashion.
Lorenzo?
I'm dressed in fairly baggy clothes, loose fitting.
Okay.
To hide the shape of my body, basically.
Okay.
And so that he may not notice me moving underneath those clothes until it's too late.
Are the pantaloons baggy as well?
Everything's a bit baggy, yeah.
Do you have large shoes?
and a red nose.
I do have green curly hair.
Okay, it is now time. You see the man that you talked to earlier walk up towards the center of the bridge, and he has a younger man with him, and they have a box that they are carrying forward.
That is coffin.
It's a small box. You know it's going to have the knife and probably the binding. You guys have Lorenzo's straight razor in a small box as well. His straight razor is, how would you describe it, Lorenzo? Is this a fancy dueling? It probably is fairly utilitarian, you might guess. What does your straight razor look like?
It looks just like what you get at the barber's.
Okay, so when you guys open the box, you can see the sort of curiosity of the younger man standing there, because he's a bit surprised at the choice. The box opens to you two, Monty and Sasha, and it is single bladed. It does have a point. It's a thinner blade. I'd say the blade itself is about an inch and a half wide. It's not like a big fat dagger with a flat back. It comes down the exact 5 inches to where there is a bit of a guard, hand guard, and then a leather wrapped hilt.
So when we open up Lorenzo's box with the razor in it, is there like a badger hairbrush and a
yes
bar of soap in there as well?
There can be.
Oh my word! We can say
you're going to lose that moustache, monsieur. You're going to look very silly.
Can we get points on his distractor?
That's wonderful.
Pie.
Oh, no, do you know what we should have done? We should have actually orchestrated a little tune.
Organ grinder.
Yeah, for the Death March.
Music box.
Oh, wow. That'd be fancy. Next time.
I could have done some.
And then
that's not the Death March. That's the Stormtrooper thing, isn't it? But never mind. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Fair enough. So he looks. The older man looks at you for approval.
We need to check the. I'll take it we're allowed to handle the blade.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
We need to check the blade over, make sure that it's not been poisoned in any way. Make sure that it's.
It's a fine blade. It's got a little bit of spring to it. Even it looks like it's as fine a weapon as you could possibly have for this event.
I ask if it has any history. Does it have any history, this particular piece?
He sort of turns his head like I just did and goes, well, let us just say that today its history starts.
I think Lorenzo a back foot when it comes to the quality of weapons.
And then he sort of turns his hand towards the younger man, who pulls off a long silk scarf. The silk scarf itself, as you handle it, you can tell that it's got some threading of sort of heavier thread that run along each side of it. It's about 4 inches wide, is scarlet red, and has small yellow flowers traced down the middle. Even though it is silk, the thick threads that are on the edges should serve well for a fairly secure binding. You guys know that the expectation will be that the two will meet, will clasp forearms, hand just below the elbow for each, and then they will bind those arms together.
Checking the knife over, I want to specifically check over the hilt as well, make sure that there's no pop-out additional blade that can basically be turn it into a double-bladed weapon of some form.
Yes.
So I'm checking over every inch of this weapon. I want to make sure there's nothing about it.
Very good.
I'm a bit confused here because if he's right-handed and I'm right-handed and we're being bound together by our left hands,
yep,
we'll be facing each other's backs.
No.
No. Left hand, right hand, stabby in the neck.
Right, so
sorry, I think there might be some confusion. When they say bound together, it's not like you're bound tightly. It's with a scarf between them. So there's some.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Let the.
It's like tug of war, but one person on each side.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll leave you about 4 to 6 inches between the two of you. Okay.
Right.
Okay, audience, you can tell Lorenzo, the nerves are starting to kick in. This is the first duel to the scratch.
Okay, you guys have examined. The one thing you do notice is that the blade and hilt and the small hand protector thing there, if you were to balance it on your finger, it's perfect where you could use it as a throwing knife as well. That's the one thing you do notice. It's balanced perfectly.
Look, if you worry,
which knife is that?
Theirs.
Okay. I noticed this, and I asked Pietro. I pointed out to Pietro. He also notices it. Sasha notices it, and I say, "Do you want me to put a wall of air so that if they choose to throw it, it bounces harmlessly off? But when they get within 5 feet, I can remove the wall of air."
Well, the thing is that they're going to be bound together, so the wall of air is going to work, is it?
Oh no, I forgot about that binding. Yes,
and they're going to be within 5 feet of each other anyway to start with.
Yeah.
And if he cuts through the binding, that ends the duel.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have thought he could throw from the distance that they're going to be fighting it.
Just a note that it is a well balanced piece of equipment.
Okay. I'll let Lorenzo worry about that then.
Yeah, Lorenzo, don't worry about it. If worst comes to worst, just fall to your knees and say, "Please don't kill me," and that counts as submission. So you're out.
Unlikely.
Okay, your
the
second.
thing you do notice that, of course, this will make a very nice weapon to take home for yourself, Lorenzo, for your monkey.
Monkey.
Might make a nice little blade, yeah.
I think that would be a great sword for your monkey.
Yes.
Okay. Your seconds have talked to you. They've asked you. Your seconds asked the traditional questions of whether or not Lorenzo was willing to back down. You guys said no. Blah blah blah. You are standing now in front of your seconds, Lorenzo, facing the bridge, and you see he is doing the same. And this gentleman now starts to take the first step. You remember clearly that Pietro did not let the man take the first step, but equally met him step for step as they move towards the center. You will have 1 second that follows you to help with the binding.
Right, so I'm going to hurry to get bound. If he's taken the first step, then I need to I need to take giant leaps.
You meet towards the middle, and you can just see that Lorenzo sort of hop skips to make sure he stays in pace. And which of your 2 seconds is coming for the binding?
I think Sasha.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're standing across from this man, about 3 or 4 feet across, away from him, and he's staring at you levelly. You do see that there's a little bit of sweat developing on his brow, even though it's not that hot.
Is that me or Lorenzo spots this?
Lorenzo.
Okay, thank you.
There's a special fighting system for this, isn't there?
Yes.
Can I instigate that now? Does that only start as soon as the duel starts? Because
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Can you remind me what it is as well? Because I forget.
What you're doing is you're going to do actions that give you pie pieces that fill up those pies.
Yeah.
All right. However, there's one of those pies that's resetting, and that is the misdirect or distract. So the key with that is you, with a single roll, you might be able to fill that one up and have an action. Right. However, it resets, as opposed to the others that are harder to fill up. But you're not going to get it probably immediately.
So and do we use any of our own skills to help us with this?
You will be using your skills to do this.
Right.
Now, during that period, he will be making attacks and things towards you that you are trying to avoid and work through, as he is also attempting to get you. So what happens here is the 2 are standing across, and it almost feels numb to you as Sasha trades place with the older gentleman. Sasha, you're expected to bind Santi as he is binding Lorenzo. So he forms a pretty firm knot on the far side of your wrist. He does slip a finger under to make sure that it's not completely cutting all the circulation off. But at the same time, it's tight enough that you probably are not going to be able to fit your wrist out of that easily. And you can feel that it's nice and tight. Your fingers are not tingly, but it's nice and tight.
And I'm going to do the same myself with Santi.
Very good. He looks down and watches you as you do it. And he whispers to you, "You're a comely lass."
I'll completely ignore him. I have no interest.
Very, very interesting, his little attempt there. You completely ignore him and back away. Well done.
Completely ignore him.
Well done.
Didn't even speak.
And then I'm going to say, I notice you're sweating now, sir.
Oh, you say that to him.
Yeah.
He says, "I shan't be sweating as I have a drink later."
Yeah.
He gives a slight tug to the binding between you, the silk. You notice that he has sort of twisted it around and grabbed it. Okay, so it's wrapped around here, and then he's got it up through his hand, so he has a hold of it. You weren't aware that was a thing, but evidently that's something you can do if you choose.
I don't see the advantage in that, other than you'll be holding it. I suppose you'll be gripping it with your hand, but it relinquishes a hand.
Fair enough.
It also brings the opponent a little bit closer.
Yeah, I can't change that.
And if you step in straight away and do something, then he can release, and he's still got the excess rope that he's just shortened to
move away,
to get out of the way.
Well,
it is worth doing, but I would just step in and headbutt the fucker and then scratch him along his face.
Anyway, The 2 seconds change position and then start walking. They do it about face and walk away from the two of you. Just the two are standing there. The loud buzz of conversation along the esplanade on the far side, you can see slightly over the guy's shoulder that they're still selling pastries and drinks. You can see just below you, out of the corner of your eye, there's a pleasure barge that's going underneath, and there's people talking and pointing. And at that point, your eyes lock with the other man's. You move your eyes
And
a
you
little
fall
to
in
see
love.
his knife, his position. He holds it low against his hip and turns sideways away from you. On 3. On. Oh. Hey! And he yanks hard on the silk rope, trying to pull you off balance towards him and stab you in the gut. What do you do?
I'm going to. Sorry,
what roll are you making?
I don't know. I can't see any of my pie charts. So I don't know what my options are. Previously, that was all up. So can I have a look at that?
Can you not see the roll 20 in front of you?
I've got roll 20 in front of me. I can't see pie charts.
Okay. Then that is...
Yeah, you don't need the pie chart, mate. I'm honest.
Listen, hold on a second. No.
Are they your pie charts or are they his pie charts?
Those are his. You don't have any.
I don't have pie charts.
No.
Felix, don't worry about pie charts. Just choose an action like your acrobatics to move.
Just like in this game.
Okay, fine.
I tell you what he attempts to do to you. You tell me how you evade and what you're doing to try and pull down one of the pie charts.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my rec.
Okay.
Which is utilize overwhelming force against a personal object.
Very good.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is whilst he pulls.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm going to allow him that slack so that it doesn't have an effect on me. So
you're going to move your arm forward. Okay, got it.
Move on forward and towards in the same directions that he's pulling.
Yes.
Yep. But I'm also going to shoulder him with overwhelming force using my rack.
I think you should swing your hand up and slap him round the face.
Ooh.
That might come later. I've got a couple of tricks. Later.
Very nice. So he is yanking you towards him and thrusting his knife out as you are doing this move. So let's roll your rec to avoid and try and push him or hit him with your shoulder.
Right. Do I? Can I bolster this anyway?
This is desperate, and it will be so that counts towards your experience later, and it is it'll be standard effect in that you will hit him with your shoulder and push him.
Any bonus dice?
No, not that I can think of. Okay, that's not so hot. So what happens is, with that, as you push in, he instead makes a quick motion and draws his blade across your extended forearm. And you are going to take, let us take a quick look at your character so I can make sure I say this correctly. You are going to take a level 1 harm called lacerated forearm. And that's a sharp ass knife. You're bleeding fairly freely from that forearm cut.
Which forearm is the one tied?
It's the one tied.
Okay, how much am I bleeding from it?
You're not squirting.
Okay, so I don't need to tourniquet.
It's not run. No, you don't need a tourniquet. It's not squirting. It's not It's not running in a steady flow, but it's enough blood that you're putting decent amounts of drops on the ground as you're moving, and you're back to roughly the same position. And what I'm going to say is, go ahead and make your own action.
Where's he?
Directly across from you. You basically didn't move positions because he interrupted you in the middle of your attempted wreck.
On the bridge.
Yes.
Where is he on the bridge?
So if you were looking at this picture of the bridge, he is roughly here, and you are roughly here.
How close to the side?
Well, there's a little balustrade there that hits you about upper mid hip. You could attempt to try and force him off. He is pretty much in the middle, so it would take some extra effort. But what action do you want to do? And remember, with your actions, you're trying to get to a point where you can actually do something to him. So right now, you are trying to do something that's going to give you a chance to roll on one of those pie charts.
I haven't got a pie chart, so I don't know how far in the pie charts I am.
Okay. Can you guys not see those?
I don't know how good I am to what the best movement would be.
Yeah.
Can you guys not see the pie charts?
No, we can see the pie charts for
fatigue, defense, and.
So this one right here is distract.
What?
Distract and misdirect.
These are mine?
No, you don't have any.
Okay, all right. So they're against him.
Yes.
Oh, so they are ones I would fill up.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry. So once again, this one right here is refilling.
That one's refilling. Okay.
However, you can.
So if you only get a 2, it'll set itself back to 3 empty the next round.
Yeah. Okay.
So remember, you can get up to 4 pie pieces if you were to have a double 6. If you can get 3 pie pieces with a single 6. Okay, 3, 4 is 2.
Okay, I'm going to distract him.
Okay, go for it. So how do you do this?
I've got blood dripping down from my arm. I'm going to flick it up into his face.
Oh, nice. Nice. So go ahead and make that roll, and use one of your skills to do so.
So I not use a D6? This is.
Nope. Use one of your. So pick one of your skills.
Hunt.
Fair enough.
Is it risky or?
Oh, this one will go down to risky, as he's back, but it will be standard effect. You will get the pie pieces you want. What did we get?
It's not good.
Wow. Well, that puts you in a bad position. So what's going to happen now is you go for the flick. So you raise his arm high and yours a little bit as you flick, and he goes to try and bury that blade in your armpit.
How does he get an attack?
It's a defense. Okay. He gets the defense.
So right now, you are making a roll to beat that.
Right.
Okay? And so go ahead.
I'll roll wreck.
Okay, once again, you're just going to yank him to mess this up. Come on.
So much for not to the death, then.
I know. This is a ugly. Oh, that's fine. You got it. You stop this, and what I'll do on this is I'll get you. Since this is a 4, I'll give you 2 segments on his defense.
I thought it was supposed to be to first blood.
You guys didn't say first blood.
No, we said to submission.
Submission. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
How do I fill up his defense? Oh, you've done
it. So go ahead and make an action. What do you want to do in response here?
We shall be distracted.
You want to do that, or you want to try and beat down his defenses? Either way.
Let's beat down his defenses then.
Okay.
With Wreck again.
You're just trying to physically beat down his... Absolutely. Go for it. And it is risky, standard. There's a 4. So you get 2 more. And he now... How do you just describe to me that move?
I'm now putting a lot... I've put... I'm pulling him downwards and putting pressure on his leg to weaken him.
Got it. So you're pulling him down hard, and he tries to slash towards your face, trying to both distract you and possibly take an eye. What do you do?
I will pull him again to the side to disbalance him.
Okay.
So it's another wreck, is it?
Yep, sure. You were basically just yanking all over this cord. Oh, gosh. Felix. Okay.
Well, it is a 6.
It's I'm not rolling. That's what it is. Somebody else is getting the shitty rolls. Let me do some rolling, and then Felix's scores will go up.
Yeah.
All right. So, Lorenzo, let us think about this. I think what happens here is you have a level 1 harm. Unfortunately, because you've already got one, that's going to push you up to level 2. And this is slash across the forehead. He did not get your eye, but he has...
Do you not have 2 lots of level 1? Is that wrong?
I'll have to double check that. I apologize, because I was thinking it was you automatically went up, but it may be that you have 2 first level 1s. Let me...
2 level 2s and 1 level 3?
I apologize. I should have known that off the top of my head. Anyone that can help me looking through rapidly for damage. Character's introduction, playing the game. Actions.
I think it'll be a level 1, but because he's got
it is level 1
already.
The question is if
because it's a light cut, isn't it? It's not a deep cut.
Yep. The question is, can you have submission. 2? The question is,
you can.
2 level 1s?
You can have 1 level 1 to forearm, 1 level 1 to head. If he gets another one to the head, I would say that would then increase the damage caused to turn it into a level 2.
I'm fine with that. Put down a second level 1. And if, slash on the forehead. The main problem with that is you're starting to get some blood coming down into you can feel it into your eyebrows, and there's concern that might get down into your eyes.
Right.
I'm just going to say as well, while this is happening, Monty's got his eye on Lorenzo and keeping a watch on him, making sure he's safe.
Yep.
I'm keeping an eye on the watchers on the balconies to make sure that there's no
very good. Very good. And Mocklin, guess what you're seeing?
I'm sensing as well.
There's fairies here again.
Okay. That was explained to me last time, so I'm fine with that. But I would like to draw your attention to the ability Open Mind. So, okay, but I'm more looking in for the arcane power build-ups.
Arcane power build-ups. I'm sorry.
So basically, if somebody's going to start using magic, it needs to power the arcane force. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Not necessarily the supernatural, unless it's glaringly obvious that the hill's been opened and the Death Lords are rampaging.
Yeah, the harm is if it's a moderate harm, it goes straight in at 2. But if it's a lesser harm, you fill up the row 1, and if you run out of space, then it goes up to a 2.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Monty. So with his success, he tries to double down on that, and he's made the cut. And he tries to bring his elbow across into your cheek and nose because that's what he's trying to do. So go ahead and make a roll to avoid that and to do something to him.
So we'll be doing wreck again. I'm going to twist and carry on and then shove him from behind.
Okay. So let's see that wreck roll. Not Rick roll, wreck roll.
That's better.
There is exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
And that fills up his defenses down. Okay?
Yeah. So now I'm behind him.
Yes, you are. So he does not stumble down. What you have done is you have effectively traded positions on the bridge, and he, for a moment, has his back firmly to you and is about to get spun around at the far end of that, like you're snapping a whip.
Right.
What do you want to do to him at that point?
Well, can I not attack it? I mean, now that I've got the thing filled, so that means
attack.
I can do attack.
Absolutely. You can do whatever you want. So tell me what you want to do to him, and then we'll make your roll, and that's what it'll do.
Okay, and then I've got my I've got my turn after that as well.
You can just jump right on it.
Okay. So as I'm gonna put him like a cracker whip, yeah.
Nice.
Just as he's making that movement and he's kind of being pulled towards me, I'm going to take my blade and try and give him a nice cut down the side of the face. Slash at an ear. Slash at an ear.
Now, are you trying to find a wound that you can give him that he will give up?
It depends on how successful I am already. I guess yes, but I'd rather end this with him hanging off the bridge.
Ah, I see.
But I'm going to go for it. I'll go for his ear. I'm just going to slash at his ear. If it works, it works.
Ooh, okay. What skill is that?
Hunt.
Let's do it. It's going to be risky. Standard effect.
This, yeah.
4/4, huh?
4/4.
Okay, so that's success with a complication, and the complication is he is going to get off a. He is no longer staggered to where he's falling over and everything else, and he is in a position now to defend himself. You see him draw back his knife, and there's a momentary look in his eye where you think he actually thought for a second about throwing it, and instead he doesn't. He takes a defensive crouch, ready to see what you do next.
Yeah, I'm going to distract again.
Are you? Okay, so what are you going to do?
I'm going to use my wreck to pull him towards the edge of the bridge.
Okay, so you don't even have to do distracting. Right now, you've got him where you can just try and yank him off the bridge. Just tell me.
Okay, so I'm just going to yank him off the bridge with wreck.
There you go. Because his defenses are down, you're just going to yank him right off the bridge until he's dangling there begging for help. Okay, let's see this wreck. Okay, so that is a success, right? Here is the downside on this. As he goes over, he twists trying to fight it as best he can, and he gets a loop of that around his neck. You are effectively strangling him to death as he's hanging there.
Okay. So he's hanging over the bridge with a loop of it around his neck, yeah?
Yes.
So now I'm going to hold the blade to his neck and just ask him to pitch.
Yeah, he's hanging enough. You can just bend down. Yeah, you can do that.
I'm just going to ask him to pitch it, basically.
And he raises a hand.
At which point I'll cut the rope with my own hand.
Oh, and he splashes into the water. Oh, that's beautiful. Stoosh.
I shout, noted.
I did think when he said drink, you might be canal water.
Wow. Well done. So he pulls himself like a drowned rat out of the far side of the bridge, closer to his retainers and folks, his house. The seconds can meet at the middle. The older man says, I wish he hadn't been quite as humiliated, but I suppose he's alive. I assume
Looked like he was going for some killing blows rather than what we agreed.
I did see that. That was not as good as it should have been. I do not know if his nerve broke or what, but I will definitely speak with him.
Did I get his ear? I got part of his ear.
Oh, you cut a good portion of it off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He said he'll have something to remember you by, aside from the massive humiliation. Says, are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied.
No. He asked your seconds.
I think we are satisfied.
Says very well. We will still, I think it would be only right that you should say that we should send an apology. He raises an eyebrow at you.
I'll hand him.
You're not there. You're down at the far end. Just your seconds are speaking.
Sorry, that House Almira. Was it Almira?
Amari. No, this is Lavelle.
Lavelle. So this is House Lavelle. So they're going to be.
They should send an apology.
They're sending an apology to us.
Yes, that's right. Apologising for impugning your honour.
Yep.
And the honour of your monkey.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
no matter how many times a week you spank it.
That would be appropriate.
So he raises the eyebrow.
A naughty monkey.
He wonders if you are going to take that. He could have walked away with you saying there is satisfaction, but he has offered up this, so a very kind gesture.
I believe
that would probably get him in trouble with the house.
Well,
I think we will, yes, accept that.
I'm going to hand them. I'm going to walk over the bridge and hand them the little bit of ear and a couple of gold coins, and ask a surgeon to stitch this back on him. So, like as a gesture.
Okay.
Goodwill.
He shakes your hand and says, "Well fought."
Okay. Yeah.
Mocklin, you do not see Moon anywhere. Very good.
She set this all up, and then she's not there because she knew that we weren't going to play her game.
Very good. So let us move back to downtime and carry on.
She's a really bad fiddle player.
So as we go back to downtime, and hopefully it changes. There, it changes for you. It's moving a little slow. Let's move on to your second activities, even as you're coming in this downtime period. So, Pietro, you know sort of what he's feeling. Yes, it wasn't to the death, but it was still an intense experience.
It's pretty bad because I wasn't kind of overwhelmingly winning that. Really, till the end.
You do have some little wounds, that's for sure.
Pietro heads over to the drinks cabinet, picks up a full bottle of spirits.
Very good.
Takes it over and says, I found that this helps.
Yep. I'm going to drown my sorrows.
Very good. Would you like to do that as a means of stress relief?
Yeah. Because I haven't actually done stress relief. I've got 4.
And by the way, you didn't use any stress, which I found interesting in your entire fight.
I didn't think I could. Okay.
Oh! And then that's my fault for saying that, for not giving you that impetus to do so. I apologize.
Because I said, can I add another dice? And you said no.
You said, do I have any bonus dice? And I was like, I don't, not that I know of.
I should have added more dice.
Yeah. Anyway, you won.
Yeah, so can I get rid of the stress? So how do I get rid of that? Or do I roll the dice for that then?
So you take your lowest attribute, and however many D6s are there, you can roll and take the one you want. So Lorenzo, you have a 2 in body, you have a 1 in mind, and 1 in 2 in mind and 1 in spirit. So you have 1. So you will roll 1d6 and take that much stress off. How much stress do you have?
4.
Try not to roll over.
Yeah.
Now you're going to get a 6.
Now he will. Yes. There it is. Got a 2. Very good. So you have done that. That's your second action. Pietro?
I think, again, he's going to try and do some stress relief.
Very good. How much stress do you have?
4.
Okay.
It's a bit of a risk, but...
Have a drink.
Do you want to count that?
I can do, yeah.
Two of you sit there and sort of chat through the entire experience and the feelings thereof, and how that people who haven't been there just don't know. Mm-hmm. And of course, you start repeating that. No one else could know by the time. But whatever. Yeah. You guys go ahead and make your roll. That's fine.
Yeah, great. Excellent.
Wonderful.
I'll take it.
So anyway, there's a raucous coming from Lorenzo's room for the rest of you guys through the evening. What do you do, Sasha, for your second?
I'm going to be doing a little bit of stress relief myself. Probably seeking out Jura because I want to talk to him and about the fact that his thoughtless comment, maybe he should have been a little more tactful with how he said things, but there are people acting against us and they are using him against me. So I'm going to basically make him aware of the fact that he needs to be more thoughtful and careful about how he reacts to certain manipulation.
Young Jorah is fairly distraught when you find him.
Uh-huh.
He has lost his house sponsorship to the Academy and will shortly not have the funds to continue.
Which house was sponsoring him?
I don't remember, but I will try and find it real quick because I remember I worked this in my head. It is, let's see here. Sasha, Jorah. Oh my word! He is sponsored to the Military Academy by the. I somehow have cut off the point where I had that written down. So what I will say is, he was sponsored. Actually, it was House Lavelle.
Hey.
Who has tended to be a bit of a boogeyman for you guys for a bit.
Indeed. I'm wondering if I can use a little bit of my influence. With House. Oh God, no, I can't remember his name now.
Bastian?
No, Cavetto.
Oh.
House Cavetto. I'm wondering if I can use a little bit of my influence with House Cavetto and the granddaughter, and reminding her how wonderful the first dance was that she had with the young dashing captain.
I love it.
And perhaps House Corvetto And as such a talented captain who's received this medal.
So
because he was honoured for his part in that fight with the pirates at the dance.
I like the idea
that house is pulling out on him really reflects very badly on that house.
My thought is that you burn your influence to gain audience with Tita.
Yep.
Tita is sitting in a receiving room in House Corvetto, which is exquisite. The 3 ladies in waiting are doing needlepoint, and Tita is playing a harpsichord as you enter the room. They are all in beautiful dresses, and their servants moving around with, actually, it looks like they're just drinking juices at this time of the morning. And Tita stands up, claps her hands so that the others all stop, and she walks over and looks at you with her sort of doe eyes and says, and how have I earned the honor of your visit?
Tita, you are looking beautiful as always. Thank you for agreeing to see me. I was hoping you could help me out, perhaps, with a little...
She draws you over to a little half-moon seat at one of the window embrasures, and the 2 of you sit down, and she sort of shoos away her ladies-in-waiting, and she leans in to listen to what you have to say.
And I'm going to say to her, I said, Tita, do you remember the dashing young captain who took you on your first dance?
A little color comes to the top of her cheeks. Yes.
So beautifully you danced around the floor. That young captain was also honoured at our last summer end ball for his amazingly courageous work against the pirates.
And then he put down that poor girl.
He did, unfortunately, but I think it was the surprise of being put into a partnership he did not seek and would not have thought it. He's young, and I think he can be forgiven for maybe the passions of the evening getting to him a little bit. I mean, he had just received an award for his gallantry, and
that is true.
Yes, I think but now he is being dumped by his house. They are removing their sponsorship of him, and he is such a talent. We cannot allow that talent to leave the cadets. It would be such a shame to lose such an outstanding captain.
That makes absolute sense. Which house has trumped him?
I believe he was being sponsored by House Lavelle.
Oh.
Is that right? I'm saying that
right.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
She says, oh.
House Lavelle. They have acted badly in his...
What I'd like to do, Christine, is have you make a roll. And I'm going to get you an extra die just because of the stratagems that you've chosen to do. I really like it. So
okay. So I'm rolling a d6?
No, you're choosing one of your abilities.
Okay.
Because things could go wrong.
Hang on, sorry, I just got to try and get something off my screen. Oh, go away.
Oh, no.
It's just come up to block my screen. How do I get rid of it? Make it go away. Click on it. No. Yes, thank God for that. Okay, sorry, half my screen just... Oh, no, now the rest of the screen's disappeared in the background. What have you done? I think... Oh, God, what's going on?
I would roll for you, but I know how well you roll, and I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I know. You know how well I roll. Okay. I don't know whether the screen's gone in the background, but never mind, that doesn't matter. Hopefully this will come through.
I think we're somewhere in a consort or a sway, doesn't it sound like? Or are you thinking it's something else?
I think rather than a consort or a sway, which I'm not very good at, I think I might try for maybe a command.
Ooh. So with that, I'll say it has limited effect because she does know who she is. It'll be risky.
Okay. No, definitely not got that.
Now you can use stress to buy that down to where it's no longer.
I wonder if it could be a study to scrutinize details and interpret evidence.
I think I'd once again be mean to you and say that's going to have limited effect, but you can't. But you can use stress to change it from a limited effect to a standard effect. Just as you can use stress to buy an extra die. So those are ways that you can use that. The GM may penalize you because they think you're picking the wrong role, but you can always use some stress and legitimately use it. So if you wish to intensely study her emotions, which roll across her face like an open book, and time your speaking to that, I think that's perfectly fine. Just it'll have limited effect unless you choose to spend a stress to change it to a standard effect.
Okay, so sorry, what am I rolling here now? I'm confused. I've confused myself.
If you wanted to do study, so we're
going to use study. Okay, I'm using study.
Now you're burning your 2 stress to.
I'm going to burn 2 stress to change it from limited. No, hang on. So this is risky or not? No, it's not.
It's risky.
It is risky, is it?
Yep, but it's got a limited effect until you spend that stress on it to make it a standard.
I'm spending that stress, so it's going to go to a standard?
Yes.
Okay.
Let us see. Let us see what happens here. This could be very interesting.
Okay, so I've got no bonus dice from using the stress, though, have I?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Oh, only one die?
I might as well have just rolled a D6.
Yeah, I know. Now that we got down to it.
All this. Yeah.
Okay, let's see about this. So I think she says, I will have to talk to my father because the Lavelles, there's something going on. I'm supposed to be careful about the Lavelles. And I did want to ask you though, that handsome guy with the monkey, is he single?
I believe he does have a paramour, although I will admit I have never seen her.
Ah, okay. I love it, Christine. Well done. Okay. So what I can do is, if you choose to extend this out and try and force it some more, there is the possibility you're going to go from a risky position to a desperate position.
I don't want to offend Tito. I'd like her to take it to her grandfather and try. As long as we try, I think then that's,
Okay, very good.
Maybe he can influence House Lavelle not to drop Jorah, possibly.
So you've planted the seeds.
Is another option, but I will leave that to Tito to try. She is wise. She's wise for her young age.
Okay.
She knows the manoeuvring of the houses, and I will not see her embarrassed by this request. So
very good. So the conversation moves to light matters. It tends to come back a couple of times to the gallant Lorenzo and his recent escapade with this duel, and she wants to hear all about it because you were there, and she's just all the ladies gather around to hear how you were a second in a duel as a lady, and they're so excited. And the day carries on, and ends with you leaving with, you think, a pretty good relationship developing with young Tita.
Lovely. Okay. And have I removed any stress, which is what I'd set out to do with Jura? I'm going to go back to Jura.
I think.
Obviously, this got distracted slightly and moved to something else, but actually what it was I said I was doing was releasing some stress with Jura.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that you make him feel that something is being done about his case. He knows that he has money left to the end of the month, which is about a week and a half. He's concerned, but he continues his classes and things until then.
We will address it again at a later point. Yeah. So, am I okay to try and roll for?
Yes, absolutely.
Stress? Yes,
absolutely.
Okay. Donkey cocky.
Look at that.
That's handy.
How much stress do you have?
I currently have 7 stress.
Well, there we go. Well done. Finally, when it matters. Pietro, did we do your second?
Yes, I've had my second.
Okay, Monty.
Monty would like to continue investigating around the arsenal area.
So go ahead and choose which skill you're doing. It's going to be risky still, but it'll have standard effect.
One over.
In this case, I get another point. I get a die.
I'm going to take the
bonus die.
I haven't taken the stress.
5, 3, 6. Nice.
There's the other. There's 3. So does that fill up your?
It does.
So you have found that below the arsenal. Now we know that it's called the arsenal, and not whatever I called it. There.
Football club.
Yeah. There is a cleft in the hill on the outside towards the ocean that, unless you are out at sea and coming at it the right direction, you don't see. And probably it'd be best to maneuver in with a small boat, rowboat, something like that, so you don't get dashed against the rocks.
Yeah.
But you have now figured out probably where some of the smuggling is coming in for the Almari family.
Good stuff. All right. Nice. Thank you.
And with that, I should probably tell you that you've also sussed out that in the shore district, there are numerous, of course, warehouses that Amaris have, but you're pretty sure you've located the one that that particular passageway coming in from the underground port would lead to. So you think you got both ends of it. Fair enough. Mocklin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's do your second.
Is it a different evening or?
It can be.
Okay. What do I need to do?
You want to train?
I've got my stress. I can become a train wreck. Yeah, no problem. I think I would be quite good at that. So I get, when I train, I get 1 diamond.
Yep. Body, mind, spirit.
So I think
you want to spend a little more time with your friend who's been teaching you some of the magics? Or are you working together?
yes. Yeah, I'll go and see Owen and see if he's got anything else that he can teach me about the working of light to try and help me.
Yep. So what I'll say is, out of this, not only are you going to get your 1 point of training towards either mind or spirit, whichever way you want to play that, he will also have worked with you to firm up that ability. For a point of stress, you can make things about the size of a bread box disappear. And you think that in extremis, spending more stress in combat or something, or in a rough situation, you think you might be able to test that and see how much more you can do.
I'll take that.
Sound good?
Yeah, 1 point of stress up to a bread bin.
Yep, something like that. All right.
Yep.
It is 10 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. We have run our full course for the evening. We've had our full downtime, including issues with paramours and including a very interesting duel that was survived again, though this one was a little bit tighter. A little tighter. Thank you all. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on the end of this particular thing. And I'm going to turn off the stream.